To you guys, it's not shown here about depression in teens. Depression in teens is serious, and a lot of teens deal with it more because our brain is still developing, and we still have to go through stress from school, stress about friends, peer pressure, self esteem, weight, and a whole lot of other stuff that people wouldn't understand. And when we go through depression and weight and all that other stuff, it makes us feel less than, and it makes us sad. If you feel like you want to look this certain way because all these models look this way and you can't do it, it's going to make you feel sad and doubt yourself and stuff. And especially if your friends is not helping you, you're going to feel down. I feel like depression in teens is something that's big, and it should be cared for and taught earlier so we can learn how to stop it, because rates is high now for suicide in teens. It's a lot, like it's a big thing because teens are not feeling well with their sexuality, their body, their friends, their school, their home, and they feeling like suicide is the best option, or self-harm, or harming others. So I think that suicide should be something that's taught and brought up and very spoken for, because I would hate to see more teens die because of depression.
There's three things that people normally don't bring up when they talk about depression. One of them is numbness. You don't always feel intense sadness. Sometimes you just feel empty. So sadness is not always something that you go through when you're depressed. You probably feel empty, numb, like you don't have no feelings towards anything. Another thing is you struggle to feel excited about your favorite things, meaning your favorite hobbies, things you like to do, everything, those things. You struggle to feel excited about them, like it don't excite you anymore. And the last one is you disconnect from the people around you, meaning if you're in the house and you're around your family and stuff, you usually just sit in your room, close the door, and do whatever you're doing. Those are things that people might be doing on a regular, but they don't see it as a red flag as being depressed. So if you are doing them things, then that can, not all the time, that can be a sign of depression. And those are just things that people don't bring up about depression.
Anxiety and depression is something that I feel people should talk more, especially with the older and younger generation, because I feel like back then a lot we didn't really know, or there wasn't really much about anxiety and depressions, and the older generation basically just brushes it off as so oh, it's nothing, it's probably they're just not feeling well for their day, when it's not really true, because depression is something that can affect you mentally and physically. Mentally, you could have thoughts of suicide. You just have no motivation to get out of the bed and start your day. Because when you get depression, there's a part of your brain that just enlarges, and it just makes you it also creates headaches for you when it becomes like that. And you just go through ranges when you're depressed. And then when you have anxiety, it's hard for a lot of people. I feel like I have it because it's more common than you would think, I guess. Than you would think, because anxiety is something that people have either mild or severe, and for those who are severe, it's hard for them to get through the day. And there are a lot of people who don't understand that and make fun of people with anxiety without even knowing it. And I feel like when people have panic attacks or anxiety attacks and they see it, they don't know how to react, because there was never a time to learn about it. And I feel that we're ignorant in that aspect, where especially when you're teens and you're more vulnerable to those depression and anxiety.
And mental illness is very important. Very important to learn about. Very important to educate yourself on. Mental illness is very important to me. I suffer from anxiety and panic attacks, and I've been going through that for the last 4 years. It's very important to get educated on mental illness, anxiety, and panic attacks, and depression, and bipolar disorder, and schizophrenia, a whole bunch of different mental illnesses. Mental illness to me is more important than physical illness. If not the same, then more important. Because you can't see mental illness. You can't hear mental illness. You might know somebody who goes through it and not know that they're going through it. Do you understand? Basically, you see someone get hurt, you see someone hit their elbow, break their arm, and you feel more sympathetic for them than towards a person who has anxiety, than towards a person who's going through mental illness, through mental problems. And we need to change that stigma. Mental illness is seriously important. It's seriously important to educate yourself on. Take 2 minutes out your day. Pick one of the disorders I just mentioned. You know somebody who's going through it? Pick one. Pick their issue and educate yourself on it so that you can be experienced, so that you can know what to do if you see somebody having a panic attack, if you see somebody having anxiety attack, if you see somebody extremely stressed, or you know somebody who's going through depression, is extremely depressed. It's important to learn. You know, you can learn about your favorite celebrity, but you won't take your time out your day to learn about a mental illness. Why? Because it's not happening to you. That's what I hear so much. Well, I don't have anxiety, so I don't need to look it up. I don't have anxiety, I don't have depression, so I don't need to learn about it. I know a little about it. I know what it is. Do you know the symptoms? No, I don't know the symptoms. Okay, so have you researched it? No, I don't need to. I don't have it. Oh, well, my sister has it, but not me. Well, how do you help your sister in that situation? Why just let her be? Would you let somebody who has a dislocated arm be? No. You wouldn't. You would help them. It's important to educate yourself so you know how to help.
Yo, it's me, Monir Lawrence. I'm gonna give you guys my input on depression and youth and how it is plaguing our youth community and making the kids who they are today. So depression is a really big thing. It's a scary thing. It's something that should not be toyed with, and it has become a really big thing in our youth. And I feel as if it has plagued our youth, and mainly the kids are now mostly care about their self-esteem and the way how they look and the way that they dress, and trying to fit in more important than who they are as a person inside, and it plagues their self-esteem.